Manipur, which has been witnessing a fresh spell of heavy exchange of fire between miscreants of two warring sides in the borders of Bishnupur and Churachandpur district for the past 3 days after relative peace for about a fortnight. And well, this has been the epicenter of violence ever since it broke out back on the 3rd of May. And 5 deaths have been reported yesterday. The total death toll has risen to 8 in this fresh spell of violence. There's been continuous shelling and firing reported in several parts of Manipur, particularly in the Churachandpur and Bishnupur district. The Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum, or the ITLF, a joint body of the Kuki-Zo tribes, have also declared an emergency shutdown in violence-hit Manipur's Churachandpur district after several Kuki-Zo-dominated areas of Manipur came under attack. At least 8 people have been killed and 18 injured, including 2 security personnel in Manipur's Bishnupur and Churachandpur districts following continuous gun battle between both the communities, the Kukis and the Meiteis, over the last 72 hours as per officials. In fact, an official said firing was continuing intermittently in the foothills of the Bishnupur district and the adjoining Chingfi and various other parts of the Churachandpur district as well. Ratnadeep Chaudhary is now joining us live on the phone line. Ratnadeep, Churachandpur and Bishnupur really have been the epicenters of violence ever since it broke out back on the 3rd of May. So now this fresh bout of violence, in fact, an arson attempt was also foiled by the army.
That's correct. In fact, this has been fresh escalation in violence after the escalation that we saw for a fortnight, a lull in violence for a fortnight, and things were limping back to normalcy slowly, and in fact, security forces were able to kind of take charge of the buffer areas between the hills and the valleys. But now this is a new spell of violence. In the past 3 days, at least 8 people, including personnel, at least one person from one security force as well. 8 people have died in this heavy exchange of fire between areas of Bishnupur and Churachandpur. This time, in fact, the kind of violence that's taking place is also different. Earlier, try to attack each other's village, but this time, long-range automatic weapons are being used. These are weapons which should not be in the hands of civilians. So, hundreds of weapons were looted from police armory. The fact that illegal weapons are being made available in Manipur, and you have firing from long range, the snipers taking shots at each other.
All right, Ratnadeep Chaudhary there reporting, and Ratnadeep made a very important point that this spell of violence is different from the violence reported earlier because automatic weapons are being used, and the big question is how are these weapons really being sourced? Because now, in this fresh spell of violence, 8 people have been killed. So the situation on the ground in Manipur is still sensitive and volatile despite efforts from the centre. There you can see deployment of security forces, central security forces also on the ground, but still isolated incidents of violence still being reported.